Hi, thank you for watching a new video blog. I was lucky in my life that I didn't have to visit a hospital very often. Mostly I had to go there to get some VAX. Sometimes, you know, some little things that need to be done, or they said that needed to be done, like removing on your hands. But I was lucky that I didn't have to go that often to the hospital. For me, it was extra lucky because every time I had to go, somehow, some way I fainted and I got really ill. This is because a hospital is a very unnatural place. It's a very horrifying place. Just look at it. When you enter, only the smell. It's just like this chemical smell, and also it looks and feels surreal. It feels scary. It's so unnatural, it's so sterile, it's so clean. To me it's just the worst place. The smell, all this equipment, people wearing white shirts, looking so sterile. Every time that I went, or many times that I went to go to hospital, I felt ill and I fainted. Because just the idea that somebody putting something in my arm, a needle, or tapping blood from me, just felt so demonic, felt so scary. It made me so afraid. And not that I was shaken, I was just going there and just wanted to do it. But the moment that they started, I just fainted. I just felt like, oh, this is just horrible. Just what the idea that somebody sticks something in your arm, or somebody getting something out of your arm, it's just horrifying. And can you imagine that these were just like little things that had to be done? That's just only by these little things I already felt so ill. Also, one time I went with my sister, my mother, and my sister had to remove also one of these moles. And I saw the mole getting removed. I was just like, okay, it was very weird. But then my sister also passed out. She also has this, that she faints when she's in hospital or something, talking about the hospital. And the result was that I also fainted and I threw up. It was just like, in my opinion now, when I look back, it's a natural reaction. If you come in such a horrible place where they just touch your body and put things in your body and just remove things from your body and just make you feel in pain. And all this like absolute horrifying idea that they put liquids in your body or they remove something from your body. It's just like a natural reaction. I think if you don't have this, your instincts are really damaged. Naturally, nobody thinks in health terms about a hospital. Nobody. There's no hospital in nature. In nature there's no hospital. In nature there is no disease, there is no illness. Because if you live naturally, there is no need for your body to get ill, because getting ill is, for the majority, detoxification process, cleaning up the body. Can you imagine that somebody does this to you in nature? There is, for first place, there is no needle to do this. It's just man-made, it's civilized. And secondly, the worst that you can experience is that somebody controls you and puts something that you are not knowing, that you're unfamiliar with, into your body. And that's just a natural reaction. It's just your biggest fear. And your brain is still functioning. I also didn't have this only when I went to a hospital, but I also had it when, for example, when we were in school and my teacher taught something about practices that they had in the medieval times. For example, they would open up a vein and they would let you bleed for a while. And as she was telling it, just like jokingly, I just felt like disgusted and horrified. And it was not just like that. I was like, oh, this is disgusting, horrified. Just like instantly, I felt. I saw white spots and I felt ill. And I had to run to the toilet and I threw up. And this happened like a few times. I remember also that I had it with movies. For example, the movie E.T. There's a part where he's also in a hospital. And it just made me really ill. Seeing, you know, all this equipment and all this sterile, all this unfree feeling. That somebody is touching your body and putting things in your body and is controlling you. That's just basically what it is. It's just an intense fear. My natural instinct was it's just a big shock to throw up, faint, and this happened many times. So Now I understand where it comes from, because a hospital is very unnatural. It's one of the most horrifying places that you can go to. Also, in the media, they connect hospitals with death, with being ill, whatever that means. Being ill in nature is positive, because if you are ill, most of the times you aren't ill, but if you are getting ill, it's just a detoxification process. People know this, natural people understand this. Just let your body do its work. Whilst with the hospital, you're forced to do things to fight the symptoms. So it is an unnatural place. Even look at the building. You just go to a building, you sit there in a waiting room, then you enter another room, which is all built out of concrete. It's nothing natural about it. The only natural being is the doctor, and the doctor will most times just listen to you and will say, okay, we're gonna do this and that. And that has something to do with getting better. Of course not. In nature, you are focusing on being detoxified. And if there is something like that, you go in nature. It's of course not normal, you stay already in nature, but you do more natural things like resting and being surrounded with families. And that is the thing that is not happening in hospitals. But I find out that my instincts are still intact. If I read about this, if I see this, things getting injected or blood getting removed from your body or other things, it makes sense. The same as reason why people are afraid of the dentist. Of course you are afraid. You're natural, you're healthy. Of course you're afraid. Somebody is close to your brain, close to your eyes, with very dangerous equipment, messing with your teeth, hurting you, putting liquids in your mouth, removing teeth, putting strange metals in your mouth, like fillers. Of course you are afraid. It's natural to be afraid. Your teeth are one of the most important things in your face, next to your eyes. Because without teeth you cannot eat. So if somebody touches your teeth or do something with your teeth, of course it's horrifying. Of course. It's very natural to be afraid. And I used not to be afraid for the dentist, because, I don't know, it's just not that, I was fine. I didn't mind so much. But later I started to become more afraid. While you should expect that children are more afraid than an adult. So now I start to become more and more afraid. I haven't visited that dentist in 14 years, but I remember the last times I went, I was way more afraid than the first times when I went as a child. So of course it's natural to have fear for this, for hospitals, for dentists, for all these fake health solutions. Of course. Yeah, I think it's normal if you experience this, if you faint it, and I think that you should avoid it at any cost. Hospitals, dentists, all of these places. If you want to get healthy, look at how you become healthy in nature. Most of the times, the moment that you are sick, you are already on your way of being healthy, and you shouldn't fight the symptoms, you should embrace them, you should love them, you should say, wow, my body is repairing itself. I let it do its work, I don't care how long it takes, I just take my time, take my rest, try to eat well, try to sleep, try to stay in a warm place, surround me with family, and I'll get better. So that's the thing of becoming natural, healthy again. So that was it for today. Thank you for watching, see you next time.